Hi guys! To be successful in badminton, you have to be able to move fast on court. And that's why I decided to make a detailed series of tutorials about footwork in badminton, starting out with the, in my eyes, most important thing, an explosive start. First of all, we will look at the technical aspect, so what you have to do technically to move fast or to start fast. Then we will look at some tactical situations and the variations of your starting movement if you're in a defensive or in an offensive situation. And in the third part, we will look at the two very important things of timing and rhythm. So when you actually have to start in a match or in a rally. And I will also show you some exercises for all of these three things we will cover. So let's dive into it. So, what is important to make an explosive start? If you have a look at good players in badminton, you will see that they always do a small jumping movement before they start into any of the corners. And that is also something we want to have a closer look on now. Maybe you've heard the words preparation jump, prep jump, or split step. That's the word I will always use here, but they all mean the same thing. They all mean a small jump before I start into any direction on court. Why should we do that jumping movement or jump before we start into the corner? The important thing here is the landing, because with the landing we will create a preload in our legs and we can use that to move faster, to start more explosively than if we would just stand. So very important thing here is that you start right after the landing. If you land and then wait, your load will go away and you don't get some extra power from that landing. But if you're able to land and start right away to the direction where you want to go, that's the perfect timing, and then you will also feel that you will be able to move much faster and get much faster out of your starting position. You can try that out just by standing in a position like that and then jump to one direction. I will jump now to my forehand side one time without that prep jump, and then one time with that small jump before, and you will also realize, or maybe you've also seen that now, that I can leave the center of the court much faster. I'm much more explosive when I do that small prep jump. Another very important thing besides the timing aspect is also lowering your center of gravity. Why it is so important you will realize in the second part of this tutorial, but always try, if you do a jump, or some players are not really jumping but they more let them fall down, both is possible, but with the landing you want to widen your position of the foot, so your foot moves outwards and then you do the starting movement. Just a basic thing to practice that is you start from an upright position and then you do a prep jump, move your foot or widen your position of the foot, and then you do a lunge to the sides like this. Always try to be as explosive as you can, so with the landing you push to the side and try to feel that energy you create by doing that small jump in the beginning. Why is it so important to widen the foot position? The reason behind it is quite easy. If we want to go to one direction, we have to push into the exact opposite direction. For example, if I want to jump up, my feet have to push downwards into the ground. If we want to move fast on court, that pushing downwards is not what we really want. For example, if I want to go to my left side, I have to push to the right side to get there. So if my feet are standing like this and now I push with my right leg, you see the power goes upwards and I don't really get fast to that corner or that side of the court. But if I put my foot far more out, now the power also goes to that direction. And that, of course, is the same for every corner. If I want to go to the right front court, I have to push to the left rear court. Now here, for example, with my left leg, and if I put it further out, I also get more power, more speed and acceleration into that direction. So that's the reason why usually you want to widen your foot position when you start, because then you can create more power into the direction where you want to go. With your starting position, you should always cover for the most dangerous shots of your opponent or for the shots that are most likely to happen. And for example, if you're in a defensive situation, the most dangerous thing that can happen in singles is a smash to the sidelines. There you have only very little time to get there and still quite a distance to cover. So the main position you should have in defense is like parallel to the net. Now I can push, as I showed before, with my right foot to the left side and with my left foot to the right side. So I can cover those most dangerous shots quite quickly. Another thing here, the opponent can also play in all the four corners if he has a lot of time. But from this position here, it's easy to adjust the position to get into those corners as well. So from here, you're not in a perfect position to get to the corners, but you can still cover full court and you're prepared for the most dangerous shots. If you're in offensive situations, your opponent is usually also limited. For example, if he is playing at the net and if he's low at the net, he cannot smash to the sideline. So it doesn't make sense to cover there. It's much more important, or makes much more sense if you turn your foot position into this or that direction. The more offensive you are, the more you should turn. For example, your opponent is really low at the net. He only has two options. He can play close to the net back or he can lift it over you. So with that foot position, you can start forward to the net, but also backwards to the rear court. So try to figure out, are you in an offensive or a defensive situation, and what possibilities does your opponent have? For example, if you're expecting a shot to your right forehand corner, then it makes sense to turn your foot already into that direction, and that will give you a very fast and explosive start into that corner. Now I want to show you a small, easy exercise how you can work on an explosive starting movement here in an offensive situation to the front court. So where you have to pay attention how your feet are turned and that you start right away with the landing of your feet. A very important thing, of course, is when should I do that split step or when should I do that preparation jump? And the important thing is to understand it's not about when to start the jump, but much more when you're landing. Like we saw, we have to start right after the landing. If we land and have to wait, then the power is gone and we don't get some extra acceleration from our split step. So you have to get the right timing with the landing. And when is that timing? The answer is when you know where to go. Like I always want to land and then push right to the corner where I have to go. So I have to find the right timing. Usually you know where to go shortly after your opponent hits the shuttle. So if you look at top players and you look at slow motion captures, you will see that they will start the prep jump or the split step movement before the other one hits the shuttle. Then they are in the air when the other one hits the shuttle, and then shortly afterwards they land and they start with the landing. So try to get that timing right. That is very crucial, that you can use all your power you generated with the landing. Last important thing you have to keep in mind is where you want to make your start, or where is your starting position. And a lot of players think they always have to start here in the middle of the court. In defensive situations, that is nice because now you can cover all four corners and also cover the sides quite okay. So in defense, that can be a goal to get to the middle and get to that position. But when you're in an offensive situation, for example, if you play a net shot, you never have the time to get back to the center of the court, but you only have time for one step. Like you can see now in the video the difference between defensive and offensive footwork. And defensive footwork, I usually try to get back to the middle of the court so I can cover all four corners. In offensive situations, I only have time for one step, and then I have to be ready for my next starting movement, for my next split step. You can work on that with exercises like one corner against four corners or one corner against three corners, as I did in the video, and try to feel the difference when you play against the corner in the rear court. Then you always have a lot of time. You can get back to the middle. If your feet are standing in the front court, then you only have limited time. You only can make One step, have to be ready again for the next one. One step, have to be ready for the next one. So try to feel the difference between offensive and defensive situations and practice that, because it's really, really crucial that you're always ready for a split step when the opponent is hitting to get the timing right for the start. Okay, so much for the first part of the footwork tutorial about an explosive starting movement. I hope you get a lot of new input and also some new ideas how you can train it, how you can practice it, and also why it is so important. If you don't have a first fast step, then you will never get to the corners quickly and you will eventually lose a lot of rallies. So try to work on that. Try especially also to get the timing right, and you will see that the speed on corner view will improve very, very quickly. If you enjoyed this video, please leave a like and also subscribe to my channel if you've not done so, and stay tuned for more tutorials coming for footwork.